position. Oh! What a nail! As Jonathan Bostic just separated Mike Willie from the football.
All right, you already know what it is. Fourth Quarter Boys Sports in effect in the building. It is I, the illustrious one, Professor Lake. And today I'm touching down with you guys after the Bears take a L 16-15 to the Philadelphia Eagles in this wild card matchup 2019. The Bears were one and done. It's a painful way to watch the team lose. But before I get into it, you know what I do right around this time. It's Fourth Quarter Boys Sports. I'm your illustrious host, Professor Lake. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Chill. Hit that notification bell. Be a Fourth Quarter Boy for life. Now, let's jump right into it. As advertised, this was a great game. The two defenses went in there and shut down the offenses. A 16-15 game. A lot of field goals, a couple touchdowns. But the Philadelphia Eagles were able to come out on top. So let's start from the beginning. Philadelphia Eagles were able to sustain a drive, getting into the Bears' red zone, and they were able to come away with a field goal. I think that the way they were able to move the ball against our secondary and how they were able to avoid the pressure from our front seven really kind of staggered our defense for a while, not really knowing how this Philadelphia Eagles team was going to attack them. Fortunately, they were able to bend but not break in most occasions. In the first half, they were able to hold the Philadelphia Eagles to only 3 points, one field goal. Kyle Fuller, at the beginning of the game, it seemed like Alshon Jeffrey was going to get the better of him, but it was great to see that the secondary was able to step up and only hold Alshon Jeffrey to 6 catches for 82 yards. Now, Nick Foles, on the other hand, he went 25 for 40 for 266 yards, 2 touchdown passes, but he also threw 2 interceptions. That's just a testament to the type of defense that the Chicago Bears play. They're very active in the secondary, and they're looking to go score. Unfortunately, we did not get any defensive scores to help save the whole team. That didn't happen this week. Eddie Jackson did not play. Now, for the Eagles defensively, they also were pretty stout. You saw that the Bears were able to generate some sort of running game from time to time. You would see Jordan Howard gash the defensive front, but more often than not, he was getting stuffed in the backfield. They just weren't able to consistently get significant yardage out of Jordan Howard. Tariq Cohen was also quiet. I think that was just a point of emphasis for the Philadelphia Eagles. Doug Peterson was going to take that option away from the Bears, and he was going to force Mitchell Trubisky to beat the Philadelphia Eagles defense. Without Trey Burton, which was a surprise scratch on Saturday night, couldn't believe he wasn't going to be able to play for a groin injury. It makes me wonder if there's something more to it. I was talking to Papa Lake, and he was saying that maybe Trey Burton was getting a little too chummy with his ex-teammates when they came to town. And maybe Matt Nagy got wind of it. Maybe he wasn't where he needed to be during curfew, considering that this is a wild card matchup and we need to be dialed in. You know, I don't know. This just seems kind of out of nowhere, a groin injury. No reports after practice or anything. Late Saturday night, you get the reports that Trey Burton is a scratch, inactive, due to a groin injury. That was surprising. So with that being said, Mitchell Trubisky, a guy that depended on Trey Burton a lot of times, was somewhat of a security blanket, and definitely a guy that's familiar with the players that are on the Philadelphia Eagles. When you think about that, you know, he's been running routes against these guys for the last 3 years before he joined the Bears, so he probably could use that to his advantage. But we could not draw any support from Trey Burton, which was unfortunate. So that leaves Mitch to dissect the secondary. And you see in the first half, he really was unable to do that. The second half, that was a different story. Let's not say the second half. Let's say around the fourth quarter, Trubisky got to shaking off some of his jitters, some of his nervousness from being on this sort of stage. and he just started letting it loose, and it put the team in a good position to win the game with seconds left on the clock. But you got to give credit to that Philadelphia Eagles defense. The way the Philadelphia Eagles defense exploded off the ball, I knew that Mitchell Trubisky would not be comfortable, whether they were sending extra pressure or not. You got to give credit to that defensive front line. They were able to stop the run, and they were able to get pressure on Mitchell Trubisky. With that said, regardless of Mitch's jitters or nervousness, he was able to go 26 for 43 for 303 yards and threw 1 touchdown, no turnovers. Allen Robinson had 10 catches for 143 yards, and he's the guy that caught the touchdown. You just want to see with that kind of pass yard production, a little more scoring involved. And, that's just unfortunate that you get 300 yards passing and you only got 1 touchdown to show for it. Just unfortunate. So next year, I really think that, there's going to be an emphasis on finishing teams off offensively as well. What was big for the Philadelphia Eagles as well is that they were pretty decent on third downs. They were able to extend drives, demoralize our defense by extending them. They needed 11 yards to get a first down. They get 12 or 13. And over the course of the game, that really begins to frustrate defensive backs and pass rushers. So the main thing that stuck out to me as far as how this game played out was that both defenses played well, enough for their offenses to win the game. Philadelphia and the Bears have really good defenses, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Philly could do in this next game, seeing how the defense is so stout. Again, Allen Robinson came out big, 10 catches, 143 yards, 1 touchdown. What more can you ask from him? You just wish that you got more production out of your offense in the first half, and it might not have been so close. A couple things that stuck out to me. There was a third down play pass to Adam Shaheen where he's matched up against Cre'Von LeBlanc. And, being as big as Adam Shaheen is, you'd think he'd just run over this smaller cornerback, nickelback, and get the first down. Instead, he tries to hurdle him or juke him. It just wasn't a good look for such a big guy to get tackled so hard by Cre'Von LeBlanc. It's not a good look. I think Adam Shaheen needs to get a lot tougher. Being that he comes from a basketball sort of background, those tendencies seem to show up quite a bit during his career so far as a Chicago Bear. Last year he was injured. You really didn't get to see too much from him. This year he was also out half the season. I haven't seen a lot of development from Shaheen. He doesn't seem that elusive. He doesn't even seem that powerful. And he's easily injured. But that was something that kind of stood out to me. Not being able to use Tariq Cohen definitely hurt the Bears. He did get a nice grab across the middle in the first half, and I thought that might have sparked something for the Bears offense. Another thing that stuck out to me was Trey Burton not being in the lineup. I know that Matt Nagy didn't expect that, and I know it throws a little monkey wrench into the game plan, whether he wants to admit it or not. And again, who knows what happened Saturday night as to why it led to Trey Burton being inactive for the wild card game. It seemed like all week he was gearing up and ready to play against his old team. But, we'll find out probably we'll find out in the coming months what went on with Trey Burton and how he pulled his groin the day before the wild card game. When you talk about Mitchell Trubisky, what kind of game he had, it was all right. This is the best defense that Mitchell Trubisky has played against. Not saying that they're the greatest defense ever. In a playoff setting, you see that the defense stepped up. They were playing ball today, and they made it difficult for Mitch to cut it loose. In fear of throwing interceptions, they were able to get upfield pressure and close that pocket down on him so he wouldn't run outside the pocket. They bottled him up. Later on in the game, you saw Mitch sit there in the pocket and deliver some strikes, though. So there's definitely some promise for our young QB for next year. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of improvement that he can make. But let's just let's just hope we don't keep saying Mitch needs to settle down and not be nervous on the big stage. That's just a thought. I wonder about the injury that he went off the field with. I hope it's not too serious. He was able to play the rest of the game, but you could tell that he really wasn't trying to run outside the pocket or gain yards with his feet. Overall, you could say that Mitch played well enough to win the game. He put his team in position, and this is where things go downhill. He put the team in position to win, and Cody Parkey just couldn't deliver. Once again, a guy that missed 10 regular season kicks comes in to the wild card game and misses the most important field goal of the season thus far. Cody Parkey will not be a Chicago Bear next year. In my opinion, no, I don't feel sorry for Cody Parkey. I don't. I feel sorry for those other players on the team that got injured. I feel sorry for the players on the team that actually play football, that actually tackle people, that actually play with their shoulder falling out the socket. They come back on the field regardless of injury. Guys who've been injured and came back in the second half of the season to do their job. I feel for those guys. I feel for Eddie Jackson, who didn't get a chance to play in a playoff game. I feel for that guy. I feel for Matt Nagy, a coach that really seems like a fun guy to play for. Seems like he knows what he's doing. He keeps his guys motivated. And I would love nothing more than Matt Nagy to win one. But these may be the growing pains of a new head coach and a second-year quarterback. But again, when the rest of the team does their job and puts you in position to win the game, as a kicker, this is all you do, is kick the ball. And this wasn't even a difficult kick. 43-yard kick. And Cody Parkey could not deliver. The first thought I had after he kicked the ball and missed it was that hope this guy has some security on the way home. There's going to be a lot of angry Bear fans. I'm just hoping that he doesn't get a beer tossed on him. Don't come out in public for the next 10 days. Don't do it. Cody, I suggest that you take the first flight out of town. I'm hoping you didn't buy any major real estate out here in Chicago. I'm hoping you're just renting right now. Take the first flight out of town, go home, and don't come back. Sorry I had to end it on a note like that, but it is what it is. The Bears lose the wild card matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles, 16-15. Let me know what you think. You know what it is. It's Fourth Quarter Boy Sports. I'm your illustrious host, Professor Lake. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Chill. Be a Fourth Quarter Boy for life. Hit that notification bell. What can I say? It's been a swell ride. It's been a good season. No one expected the Bears to take it this far with the first-year head coach, Matt Nagy. No one thought that. We exceeded expectations. Fellas, you guys take you a nice little vacation. Get with the family. Stay out of trouble. Go chill out on the beach or something like that. And be ready to play next year, man. Because the Wolves are out and they're coming for you. As the Kings of the North, to maintain that crown, you must keep hunting. So, with that in mind, one more time for the 2018 and 2019 season. It's been so well. Before I go, I want to thank all the subscribers and everybody that tuned in. Man, it's been fun. This has been one of the better seasons. This is my first year YouTubing, and it's been great, man. I've been enjoying talking Bears football, and it's not going to stop. We're going to keep this thing rolling right off until the draft season starts up. We're going to keep talking Bears football. And you know how I started this thing out, man. I was looking at tape. So I'm going to get back to looking at some of these college prospects. And, we're going to see what the Bears might come up with. See, now, if you're watching earlier on, around March 2018, you would have seen me talk about Kevin Tolliver. You would have seen my film study on Roquan Smith and Tremaine Edmonds. You know, so we talked about these guys. I'm gonna keep uploading. You want to go check some of the old tape out, man, and just dig in for yourself. You know, can't forget the Jordan Howard versus Ezekiel Elliott tape. Yeah, man. Holla at your boy, Fourth Quarter Boy Sports. It is the illustrious one, Professor Blake, and I'm out.
There's a what a nail! As Jonathan Bostic gets separated, Mike Willie from the football.